Hey guys! So today I'm coming at you with a different video. I've decided to do a video all about my life living abroad in Malaysia. So a few days ago I asked you on Instagram to leave me some questions down below because I've got some random ones all across videos, but I haven't actually managed to put them all together because they were from long videos, like long ago when I was living there, and recent ones, and I just thought, right, I'm gonna put out something and get all the questions in one place. And I had a really good response of over 50 questions, so you're gonna have to forgive me guys because it's probably either gonna be kind of a long video as well. Of course I want to answer as many as I can, but if it goes on to a stupidly long time, obviously I'm not gonna be able to. And yes, I will mention your names because I know you guys like it when I mention your names. Firstly, just briefly, I wanted to say my little story. I know you guys have heard it, it really is gonna be short. When I was 4 going on 5, we moved out to Malaysia from living in Bristol, where I am now, which is in England. It's in the southwest of England. We moved out when I was 4, and I know there's some questions of why, and I'll just leave that till the question. So we moved out there when I was 4, and we were only planning on staying a year, and we ended up staying 11, and we came back May 2nd of 2013, and that's where I am now. So that's just the little... that's my story timeline sort of thing, and then the rest of it is now what you guys are going to ask. The first question comes from Natalie Ann. Why did you move to Malaysia? The reason we moved is because of my dad's job. He got offered a 1-year position there that ended up being 11 years. So just my dad's job mainly. Beauty Shopaholic 65. What was the most memorable thing about living in Malaysia? The thing about living in Malaysia, I think that was the most memorable, was the people I met. I had so many special moments, but I've met my bestest friends there. Obviously that was where I grew up, but I've met the most amazing people there, and I learned all about, you know, how Malaysia was. But Malaysia in as such wasn't as important as the people I met that really mean the world to me even to today. eHacker 2002. Hi, I love you. You are my inspiration. Oh, thank you so much. Please can you say how hot it was, please, and what the best places are. Love you, XXXX. Oh, thank you guys. How hot was it? Malaysia usually ranges around 26 to, well, it can be anywhere from 24 all the way up to 32, and even sometimes it can hit the 40s. But right now in Malaysia it is 27 degrees. This is in degrees Celsius, and I'm not too sure how I can view it in Fahrenheit. I think I have to go into my settings and change it. But 27 degrees Celsius. What were the best places? I have to say, you have to remember I moved there when I was really young, so if I was to say the best places were when I was younger, obviously I can't really remember. But the best places, in my opinion, like if I was to go to Malaysia again, the first place I'd go to is probably the Mall Pavilion. I absolutely love Pavilion. It's a very high class, high-end mall. It's got like, you know, Prada, Gucci, all these big name brands, but then it's got a really nice balance with Forever 21 and Victoria's Secret. So I love that mall because you can go and browse the really expensive brands, but you can also go in and actually get things from Forever 21 and things like that. So that's why I really enjoy it, and it's lovely and clean. It's very grand, which is what I like about it, and it's definitely one of my favourite malls there, if not my favourite, and plus it's right next to Sephora, so yeah. Next question comes from Una Sarayan, which is actually my friend that I haven't seen in a while, so hi Una! The best thing about moving there and whether you would recommend it, and mention different kinds of weather there. Basically our weather is we didn't have any real seasons. It was sunny and rainy, and that was the general consensus of what it was there. It literally was sun and rain, and it would just depend on the day. We did have a season that was more rainy, and obviously the rest of the year was sunny, but it would still be sunny while it was rainy. So would I recommend it? If you were to move anywhere in the world, I don't think Malaysia would be the first place I would pick for you. There's I don't know why, like it is a lovely place, and I've only grown to appreciate it after I've left, but it's not the ideal place for a family. Like I can just think of nicer places, you know, like I feel like New Zealand, and if we're talking like around the Southeast Asia, I feel like New Zealand would be a nice place to grow up. Maybe even Borneo, which is in Malaysia, but it's not Kuala Lumpur. I was living in Kuala Lumpur, which is the capital city. So I feel like those outbound places would be kind of nice to go, but also New Zealand, that more no, it's not in Southeast Asia, but it is as such, it's just up here, so I feel like places like that are more appropriate to go to, but I did really enjoy it, but I didn't appreciate it at the time. So yeah, it was a nice place. It's not a terrible place to grow up, don't get me wrong, it was lovely. What was the best thing about moving there, she also asked. I suppose in a sense the best thing about moving there was that our lifestyle was completely different. We obviously were earning, well, I wasn't, my parents were earning more money, and I got to go to a very high up private school, so I suppose I obviously didn't appreciate it at the time. I sort of hated that school, but now I've left, to say I've been to that school was also quite a big thing, I think, in my CV and things for job interviews, so there's that. Next question comes from Darcy White. How were the shops in Malaysia? They were really good. Like I said, we had a really nice balance of loads of designer shops like Coach, Prada, Hermes, everything like that, and Tod's, all those sort of different brands, and yet we also had Forever 21, which we don't have here in Bristol, and I really miss it because like half of my wardrobe is from Forever 21. We had Victoria's Secret, we had Sephora, which is my #1 thing I actually truly miss. I basically lived in Sephora, so the shops were really amazing, and whenever I go to Malaysia I have to make time to go shopping because I just loved it. The pole dancing sloth. Was it hard moving countries in such an important stage in your life? By this I mean, did you keep your friendships and did your education get affected by this? Well, the thing is, I've always wanted to move back to Bristol, and like I said, I went through all my schooling from year 1 to year 11 in Malaysia. So I finished up my schooling because that was the one thing my parents wanted to make sure that I finished, and then I went on a course for obviously makeup artistry, and we decided to leave the like literal week after I had finished my exams in that. So we did base it around my education, so my education was not affected. Did you keep friendships? Absolutely. Like I said, I've met some of the most amazing people over there, and through Facebook and Skype nowadays it really doesn't feel that far away, but it does. But yeah, it just doesn't seem that far away. But I've met my true life friends in Malaysia, and they've all moved, like I said, my best friends moved to Gold Coast in Australia, my other friends in North Malaysia now, so we've all dispersed over the world, which is sad, but in the sense it makes the world seem really small because it's just easy to get on a plane and get there. So my friendships weren't affected by it. But was it hard moving countries and such an important stage in your life? Not really, because I was excited to come home, and it was a lot of work packing up the house and everything, but my parents mainly did it, but we, you know, it got through. It was pretty easy to move back because, like I said, it wasn't in the middle of my exams. Like, we weren't in a rush to get home. We had booked dates according to what was happening. So Nicole Tracy X, what was the worst part about living abroad, if any? The worst thing about living abroad was that I was not near my family. I was so far away from my family, and I'm a very family orientated person. I spend most of my time with my family, and to not have my grandparents and all my cousins and things, because I have a very big family. My mum's parents are still alive, my dad's parents are still alive, obviously all my aunties and uncles and cousins. I have loads of aunties and uncles and cousins, so we are a very big family, so that was what hit me really hard. BXSICCC, I don't know how you say that. How long were you in Malaysia? What was the school like over there? And if I went there, what would you recommend me visit first? How long were you in Malaysia? 11 years. What was your school like over there? It was very, well, it was good schooling. I didn't really enjoy it, but I did it and I came out with good IGCSEs. If I went there, what would you recommend me to visit first? I feel like if anybody goes to Malaysia, they definitely need to go to up top of the KL Tower, which is like this really tall tower, and then it's got like this thing up top. It looks like one of those air control towers, but way taller. And up there's a revolving restaurant, so it's all glass and around the outside, and the restaurant is actually revolves like that very slowly. You're not going fast, obviously, and there's tables all on it. I didn't get to go up there. That's something I wanted to do before I left because I've been up there many times, but when I was younger. That's one thing I wanted to do before we leave, but we didn't actually get to do it. But I'd recommend anyone to do that because it's really good, and they serve authentic Malaysian food up there too. You get to go up in this really fancy elevator from the bottom all the way up, and it's like a novelty to do that. But if you're a tourist, I feel like that's something you need to do because you get an amazing view of the city, and obviously it's 360 because by the time you finish your meal you've gone round I think twice. So it's really good and I recommend you to do that. Beauty Fashion 077, worst part about moving around, I love you too. Worst part about moving around, like I said this before, it was, there wasn't really any problem with it. I suppose you're just paranoid about when we had to send off all our when we had to send off all our furniture and stuff, seeing the container leave to go on the ship was kind of nerve-wracking because I love all my stuff and I was worried if the ship sank or something like that because we actually had to pay an insurance fee in case it sank. So I was like, oh dear, they actually take these things like real seriously, so I was worried about that. Katie OLLEYX, do you wish you still lived there or are you happy where you are? When I first came back, I was very, very happy here. I am still very, very happy here. However, I am missing Malaysia so much recently. I just feel like I'm turning 18 in 9 days now and I just want to be with my friends. I really want to be with my friends back there. If I still had a choice again, I would still stay here. Aimee Croucher, which is spelled the same way as mine, A-I-M-E-E. High five. What was it like missing friends and having to make new ones? Missing my friends was very hard. Like I said, when I was living there, Rain moved over to Australia and that was the first huge thing that hit me and I hated it so much, and having to make new ones here. I've met some amazing people here in my college and also a couple of old friends from when I was in year 1 primary school, whatever. New friends I've met are amazing. Like we're gonna be such great friends. Obviously at the moment I'm still really missing my true friends that I spent 11 years of my life with, but I still really love my new friends. Hannah Betsy XO, did you have to leave any close friends and how long did you live there? I've already answered those. Amit Ryder, how was the food there? The food there is so good. I absolutely love our main, well it's not national dish, but it's not even Malaysian, I think it's Indian, I'm not too sure, but I count it as Malaysian, is roti canai. Roti canai, if you probably don't know it, but it's sort of like a, roti directly translated means bread, roti canai means fried bread, so, but it's not like we have in England where you pop a piece of bread in the fryer. It is like a dough mix that's then made on a hot plate that's got, it's like all fluffy and the bread gets, I don't know what it's called, like, I don't know, if you would Google image it, it tastes amazing and you have it with curry for breakfast. It is so good. People here, when I say I have curry for breakfast, they're like, what's wrong with you? But that is a tradition there. And can I say, one of my favourite traditions ever. Also, I love chicken rice. Malaysian chicken rice is really, really good. RC White, how was the weather? I'm sure it's a lot nicer than England. It is very sunny over there. It stays sunny, but when it gets rainy, we get bad storms. If we do have occasionally very bad storms, thunder, lightning, power cuts, everything. So we have very violent storms sometimes. The weather's nice, but can I just say I prefer this time in England, wherein right now it's sunny outside but it's still cold. The air is still cool. It's my favourite type of weather because it gets so humid out there. It's horrible. Jemima Rose? England or Malaysia? England. Chelsea 123, how come you lived there? My dad's work. Xana XOXO, it doesn't matter what the video is about, if you're in it, it'll be perfect. Oh my gosh, how sweet. Nina Murray 1997, what was your dad's job there? My dad was the directing manager of a company that manufactures street furniture such as signposts, bus shelters and things like that. And he had a very, very good job there, which actually now he is still continuing while we're here, but he's doing it mobily from the computer in our house. So he works from home now, but directly he works in Malaysia. And actually right now he is in Malaysia because he goes out every month. So his job consists of a lot of travelling and a lot of time away from us, but also he gets to stay home, but he works incredibly hard for us, but that's the job. Katrina Watkins X, what was the best part about living in Malaysia besides your friends and family? By the way, love you and love your videos. Thank you ever so much. Okay, I'd have to say the freedom I had, I think, because there it's very easy to get around. We could get taxis wherever we wanted, and taxis there are not like taxis in England or London. They are not expensive, they are pretty cheap. So I felt like I was very free there. I'm so free here, don't get me wrong, but everything Like taxis, like I said, I don't drive yet, so taxis are expensive to get around. And also I knew Malaysia now. I started to learn everywhere. I could probably drive around Malaysia and knew where I was going. Malaysia's freedom for young people, I feel, is very, very, very good, especially expats. Expats in Malaysia, the freedom for a young expat is very good. Like it was the time of my life basically. So when I was getting older, like when I was about 16 plus, that's when I started feeling that buzz. Gemma Louise 1990, do you think you would ever move back out there, and are you and your parents settled in here? We're definitely settled in here. I can't see us moving back now. However, I do want to go back. I would like to go back for a very long holiday. Every opportunity I can afford and I can have time off, then I will go back to Malaysia for as long as I can. Chrissy Pringle, was it cheaper living over there or over here? Definitely cheaper living over there. Victoria Muthwill, how did Milo get over there? Did he go on the airplane and sit with you? Milo actually had to go in the cargo, which was down in, obviously with the suitcases, but he was in a separate room. And he was in, we'd had to, it was so expensive to send it home, but we had to buy him this humongous crate that he had, like he could walk around in it, he could lay down, he could stretch right out. It was really big. We had to teach him how to, you know, like those rabbit bottles that have got the little ball at the end where they just sort of lick it. We had to teach him how to use one of those, and he had to have food, because obviously the flight is 14 hours. He had to have one batch of food 2 hours before the flight, so he went 16 hours without eating. So I was terrified, but he was down in the cargo, and we were up, obviously, in the plane. Maya Brunette Bitch, how long did you live there for, and what is the time difference? What types of food is there? Okay, I've already answered those two. The time difference is, compared to England, it's plus 8 hours, plus 7 or 8 hours, depending on the clocks. Ao Ifes Makeup, was it difficult moving from Malaysia to England, and where would you rather live? Would rather live in England. No, it wasn't. It was very easy. Brownie Lim, what were the buildings / tourism attractions that you've experienced? I've been everywhere in Malaysia. The mall, like I was saying, Pavilion is a tourist attraction. The KL Towers, which were one of the tallest they were the tallest towers in the world at one point. Like I said, the KL Tower, which is the one with the revolving restaurant. They had the zoo, but it was not a good zoo. It had very bad reputation. And I feel like everything else is sort of out. Like there was no... Oh, Sunway Lagoon. Sunway Lagoon is our water park there. That was a big attraction. And I feel like that was it. So, yeah. Now I've got a ton of questions from this girl called Sam27 July. And there is like so many, like she has spammed my comments. I'm gonna have to miss a whole bunch of these. Do you regret it? No. Did you move with your family? Yes. Who did you live with? My mum and dad. Was it a culture shock when you lived there? Not really, because I was young and I sort of grew up with it. Were the people like the people in England or different? No, they were not like the people in England. The people in England are, I don't want to offend anybody, the people in England, we're very considerate here. In Malaysia, even the Malaysians, I'm pretty sure, would agree with me that people were very, like as an example, if there's a line, you know, it would just be whoever could get to the front first. There would be no common courtesy as such, which drove me insane. Like me, my mum and my dad, we were all driven insane by this, and even my Chinese and Malay and friends out there, they all agree. They're like, we are terrible for this. I hope I didn't offend anybody if they're Malaysian watching this, but I truly, like, come on, you guys have to admit it, we don't have like any form of, you know, social protocol as such. When you first moved there, how many people did you know? My dad knew a few people from work, and then my mum met his friends' wives and things like that, and that's how I made my friends. What was your first impressions of Malaysia? Very young, so like I said, I didn't really have a first impression. Were you happy about moving back to England? Yes. What was the experience that you expected? Like I said, I was young. I'm just gonna have to skip a whole bunch of these. Is it nice being in the sun every day? You get sick of it. I hated the sun by the end of it. I would be under the umbrella, I'd be inside in the aircon. So no, I didn't enjoy the sun. Stephanie Horsnell, my very good friend there, one of my first friends I've met, she's asked, do you miss hanging out with Stephanie and all your other friends here? I really miss hanging out with Steph, but she's coming to Bristol soon, so I'm excited. And your other friends, of course, miss all of you guys. Wish I could be back with you guys. I miss you all. Overall, would you recommend it? Yes. Were you homesick? Yes, I was very, 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 very homesick over there. What were the pros and cons about living abroad? Pros are you generally will get a better lifestyle, a more, you know, wealthier lifestyle. You get to experience the world. If I didn't live in Malaysia, I've visited so many places in the world that I never would have visited if I just lived here. Cultures are fun to get used to. Since I was in Southeast Asia, we had beautiful islands all around us, so we could just travel really quickly on a plane in like 40 minutes to get to a beautiful island. Cons are sort of like, it was hard for me to get a job. I couldn't have got a job there as an expat. You'd have to try very hard or work for one of my dad's friends, something like that. Obviously you're away from your family. When I was younger, I felt a bit intimidated by different cultures, different like races. I felt a bit intimidated being a white girl. I felt vulnerable as such, but I grew out of that when I was older. I learned the real way of how it is. Was it complicated to get your phone working over there? No, we just got a different phone and a different SIM card. Did you lose any of your friends due to moving away? Absolutely not. If anything, it's grown our friendship stronger. I suppose I've stopped contact from some of my friends, but, well, not stopped contact, like just generally say hello and things like that, but it wouldn't be as strong as it was. Last question from You Bring Me Joy X. What was the best thing about living in Malaysia? And I've already gone through this and said how it was the shops, I suppose the sun in the end, because there's sometimes I come back and I'm like, I wish it was a little bit warmer. So I suppose a little bit of the warmth, and also, like I said, the beautiful lifestyle I had and getting to travel the world. That was all of the questions. That was sort of my Q&A. I might do another video like on things that I want to talk about Malaysia, reasons I feel like it's nice to live there and why it's not nice to live there. So thank you for everybody who commented. I hope I got all those questions in and I haven't skipped any. I'm really sorry if I have. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and if you do have any more questions, feel free to tweet me. So thank you guys ever so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Ciao.